So this is a story of how I once turned someone away who wanted to book a modeling digital session with me because I suspected that they had an eating disorder. So when someone reaches out to book a session with me on my form, there's a place where you can put your Instagram, and naturally I always go look at someone's Instagram to see what they look like. And so when this girl reached out to me, I went on her Instagram. I immediately could tell that this girl was sick. She clearly had her bones showing through her photos. You could see her collarbone, you could see through her arms. It was very obvious that she was sick and that she had an eating disorder. I was, shocked because I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is really dangerous. The first thing I did though was I shared her Instagram with some of my female friends to ask them, hey, what do you guys think? Do you guys see what I see? I didn't mention anything. I didn't tell them to look for anything. I just said, look at her Instagram and tell me if you see what I see. And they reacted to her images the same way that I did, suspecting that she has an eating disorder, which verified and validated kind of what my suspicions were. And I asked them, like, what do you guys think? I don't know how I feel about taking on this client, doing her digitals, knowing that she has an eating disorder, because she's going to hire me and I'm going to be capturing this version of her that is not okay mentally. And it's going to essentially promote, encourage, and reaffirm the state that she's in. And I don't know how I feel about that. The thing you got to know about me is that I don't take modeling that seriously, you guys. Even though I service a lot of models by doing their digitals portfolio, I scout models, I create content on here for models. I do not see modeling as something that is that serious where someone needs to completely change their entire look just to appease the modeling world. Like, it's not that serious. It's supposed to be something that's like, if you have the genetics and if you have the opportunity to do it, that's dope. Give it a shot, try it, experience it for however many years you can, but move on, because there's like way more important things in life than modeling, right? When I see that people are taking drastic measures to change their image or their body in order to become a model, it is very, very concerning for me. When me and this girl eventually hopped on a phone call to have a discussion, I didn't even get to talk about the eating disorder yet, because she had brought up to me that she'd been basically with this modeling agency who's been charging her like $800 worth of development fees. So before I could even get to the fact that I didn't feel comfortable working with her because I suspected she had an eating disorder, I had to first break the news to her that she was getting scammed by a modeling agency, which was a shock for her in itself. For half the phone call, I had to literally explain to her why this agency that she thinks is taking an interest in her isn't a legitimate agency, and how these development fees that they're charging her are literally what scamming agencies do. And she was shocked. But the other thing, and how I kind of transitioned to talk about the eating disorder thing, was the fact that I'm like, look, the biggest indicator that they are a scam is that no modeling agency, no serious modeling agency is going to hire someone who has an eating disorder, because that's a bad image for the modeling agency, and they're not going to be able to profit over that, because no brand is going to hire someone that is dangerously underweight to the point where their bones are sticking out of their bodies. So I had to bring up, this is one of the things that seals the deal. They're not serious because no legitimate agency would sign you in the condition that you're in. Of course, her initial reaction was surprise, like, what do you mean? What is wrong with me? What are you talking about? Denial. But I had to gently let her know, I'm like, look, you clearly are underweight. Your bones show through your skin. It is very apparent to me that you are struggling with an eating disorder. I'm aware of that, and I do this for a living. I can tell, I can read through people's body fat levels through their imagery. It's very clear throughout your Instagram that you are dangerously underweight, and I need to make it apparent to you that I cannot condone this. I cannot allow myself to participate in promoting or capturing or photographing someone that has an eating disorder while they have an eating disorder, and I need you to understand that there's a boundary that I'm drawing when it comes to my business and what I feel like my name and image will be participating in. And this was about like an hour's worth of a conversation, and it took a minute for her to really come around to the point of agreeing or just accepting and admitting that she has an issue. But she eventually admitted, yes, I know, Brandon, that I do have a problem with my body. I know that I have an eating disorder, and I know that this is something that's very important. I told this girl, look, I don't feel comfortable taking your modeling digitals in the condition that you're in. I think that you should first seek help. I think you need to talk to someone in your life that you trust, and I think that you need to seek help for this, because that is your priority. It's not about getting into modeling because, look, you're so disoriented in your judgment. You're so desperate to become a model that you're overlooking your own health to the point where now you're getting into situations where people are scamming you. That's how dangerous it gets for some people, where they're so delusioned that they're allowing themselves to hurt their bodies and then hurt their bank accounts by getting scammed by agencies that literally do not care about you. I told her that I would not be photographing her in the condition that she's in, and she so desperately wanted me to take her digitals because she really believed in what I could do, and she really wants to do this modeling thing. And I was like, look, I just can't. And she said, well, what if I get help? What if I go talk to my parents and tell them about this? And like, can we still do digitals? So I was like, no. And like, she was really, really adamant about doing digitals, even though I like made her confirm confess and admit that she has an eating disorder. And I was like, look, this isn't about the money for me. Like, I make a lot of money. I don't need to do this for money. Like, I'm not going to be promoting something that I think is detrimental to people's health over $400. Like, it's not worth it to me. And I have to admit, it was hard to figure out like what the right thing was to do in this case, because I'm like, well, she clearly knows that she has an issue and she's still willing to pay for a session. So do I, as a business, should I care that she doesn't care about her body and just move forward with the service, or what? And then I was like, the only instance in which I would ever want to even agree to this is if we're doing some sort of documentation, like I'm shooting the before pictures of your process of healing so that you can come back when you're actually better and have a healthy body weight, and we can take your digitals and you can show people, look, this is what I've been battling. She's like, I love that idea. I love that idea. And then afterwards, I was like, you know what? No, I don't like this, because I don't even feel confident that you're taking this serious. I think you're going to say anything that you need to say in order to get me on board to shoot your digitals, when realistically, I don't want to, because I know this is not going to be healthy for you. But I told her throughout the conversation, I was like, look, I think you need to process everything that I'm saying. You need to process the fact that you got scammed. You need to process the fact that you've had an eating disorder. And I think you got to go talk to somebody. Go and share this conversation with someone and said, hey, this photographer told me that they believe that I have an eating disorder, and I think that they're right. And I think that I have to admit it and talk to my friends and family. So family and friends, like, this is what I'm dealing with. Help me with my struggle. And she said, okay, Brain, I'm going to do that. I really trust you. And she had a lot of great things. She was really appreciative of the conversation. And I believe that she was genuinely appreciative of the conversation, but I don't know how deep the concern was for her to actually get the help that she needed, because after our phone call, I told her, like, give it 2 days and then, like, let's, have this conversation, because I was hoping that she would be like, you're right, this is not the right time, let me go focus on myself. But instead, 2 days later, she's like, I talked to my mom, I talked to my friend, but I still want to move forward with doing digitals. And then I was like, yeah, I don't think you get it. I don't think that this is something that you understand. And I was like, no, I don't feel comfortable. I kept saying no, and then she continuously wanted to do it. And at that point, I was like, I don't understand why you don't understand my boundary. I don't feel comfortable. Like, at this point, it's not about whether you feel comfortable about it. It's about me not feeling comfortable about it, because I don't want to be promoting this stuff. And she just wasn't getting it, to the point where I just ended up ghosting her, because I'm like, okay, she's continuously going on wanting this to happen, not respecting my boundary and what I'm comfortable with. So at this point, I'm just going to cut her off. And that was pretty much it. I moved on, and I haven't heard from her since. And I hope that she actually got the help that she needed to, like, recover from this. But essentially, that's my boundary. Like, there are things that I will and will not stand for, and business is not making money. I can make money in millions of different ways. Trust me. Like, I don't need someone who is in a situation like that to be hiring me. I don't want to promote stuff like that. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that I handled it right? Do you guys think that I should have just let her pay for the session? Like, it's her problem, not mine. Like, what do you guys think? Because I feel like I did the right thing. I stood for what my boundaries were. It's crazy. There are people that are really gonna hurt themselves just to do this modeling thing, and I'm not for that, you guys. And I'm the guy when it comes to modeling. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I want to share that story with you guys, because there's a lot of things that I've experienced doing this.